Come join us for an electronic field trip that's going to take you where the action is.
It's an exciting tour of the Kentucky Center for the Arts, both on stage and behind the scenes.
It's an up-close and personal look at everything that goes on, from the production crew who make the show happen to the actors for whom the show must go on.
She is so excited. Let's go in.
Come on.
We're here in the lobby of the Kentucky Center for the Arts. It's the gateway to live performances for people of all ages. You may ask, what is an art center? I think Ashley may have that answer.
Thanks, Charlotte. With us now is Michael Hardy, the president of the Kentucky Center for the Arts. Mr. Hardy, can you help us know just what an art center is?
Well, I'll do my best. Welcome to the Kentucky Center. A performing arts center is many different things. It's a physical space. In our case, we have 3 theaters, a lot of studio spaces, workshops, and exterior and interior spaces devoted to the arts. It's also and very importantly, I think, a psychological space where there's a transaction waiting to happen between performing artists and audience members who've come together to find something that they're looking for, whether it's entertainment, whether it's a tragedy, a comedy, a special, exciting event. And in our case, in the case of the Kentucky Center, we are also a home to the Louisville Orchestra, the Louisville Ballet, the Best of Broadway series, the Stage One professional theater company, which tours all over the state. So our center is many different things to many different people. It is in fact a center where people and artists come together to create.
Wow, yes, and as we see around us, it's not just a center for the performing arts, but all kind of art as well.
We have wonderful visual arts throughout the building, wonderful sculpture on display both outside of our building and inside of our building. And we also reach out across the Commonwealth of Kentucky with education programs, with our Governor's School for the Arts, which is also one of our programs, with tours of the Louisville Youth Orchestra, Stage One, and our other resident user groups. So we are really a state organization dedicated to serving the entire state in the performing arts, and so our center reaches out far and wide.
Well, thank you. Thank you for letting us show our friends a behind-the-scenes look at the center.
Well, thank you, and I hope you enjoy your tour.
Oh, thank you. Now, as an audience member, you get to see the final production, but every production must have a beginning. It's a lot of hard work, and no 2 productions start out the same way. Let's catch up with Charlotte, who's going to take us back to the very beginning.
I'm here at the Barnhart Theater at the Arts Center. Later in the program, we'll be seeing a production on the stage behind me. Production is a medium-sized word that describes the huge amount of work that it takes to get a show ready. What may appear to be disorganized or chaotic is usually right on schedule. Why? Because there are many elements of production that must be followed.
Well, the first element of a production, or I would say the producing actually of a play, is the selection of the text. But once that happens, and the director from our staff is selected to be responsible for it, the script is then taken to be passed out with the auditions, and the cast is selected. And then they do a certain amount of time at what we call table work, where the play is read, it's discussed, everybody's very clear that's been cast on what their goal is, why was I written in this play. I mean, really basic questions are answered, and then also the vision of the director. And the blocking is very patiently written down in everybody's script. So pencil is very important because actors cannot remember, no human can remember unless it's all recorded. And the stage manager dutifully records everybody's blocking in the master script. which then becomes information later on for the lighting designer, for the costumer. Oh, I see, says the costumer, this character has to slide across the floor and or do 4 cartwheels. Well, that influences how a costume is designed. But that all comes from the text and the vision of the director.
The beginning can be different for a dance company or musical artist. Staging and direction can involve a variety of skills and a variety of styles to make it all come together, whether it's a one-person show or a cast of hundreds.
You know something? You're sick!
I'm sorry.
Sick!
It was a joke.
It wasn't, you were serious.
I'm so not.
You must also have the visual element, the lighting, scenery, costume, prop, and makeup. Another important element is sound. Sound can create the environment or be the guiding force for a dance company or musical.
Would you go ahead and plug in so we can hear the flute as you play?
Sure. This is the Todd Clark Rehearsal Hall. Right now, Cheryl Skinner is rehearsing for the National City Jazz Cabaret. Let's check in.
There's nothing there for some reason. We don't seem to have. No. On switch. Green. Down. There you go. Okay, now turn it back on.
At one of the rehearsals, when we all get there, we discuss the arrangement, and then we begin to read the charts. All the charting is done prior to the rehearsals, and then we rehearse the piece, and we take sections and work them out.
If anything supports the saying, practice makes perfect, then the rehearsal is the part of the production that proves that. Let's check in on a few of the rehearsals, and you can see the differences.
All right, take it from same spot, Katie. Just start it right there with yeah.
Oh,
It's for you.
it's a male?
Yeah. Watch your face. He's not lick your skin clean off.
We don't care, do we, boy? Let's name him Prince Tarian. Make him the guardian of Terabithia.
Where are you going?
To the sacred grove of the pines. This is a time of greatest joy. Spirits of the grove, our joy comes overflowing on this day of feasting, of singing, this day of gifts and sharing, of caring. O sovereign liege, we give you thanks for this gift, this prince, this guardian of our castle and kingdom, Prince Tarian of Terabithia. I, the queen, give you thanks, O king. That's for you.
Painted paper. Real artist paper. Lord! Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's not a great present like yours, but I hope you like it.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Oh, Queen, I, King of Terabithia, give you thanks also. Spirits of the grove, our joy comes overflowing on this day
Of feasting, of of singing, this day of gifts and sharing, of caring.
Yes, excuse me. You know, I would like very much when we come in after the pauses to play faster. I really would like to take the first movement pretty fast. Otherwise, it's too gemütlich, you know. Gemütlich. It means kind of, you know, easygoing. It's not. It's highly charged. And I would like to take it fast. Okay, thank you. And D.
Got to be changing it because we see you changing it, but you got to be changing it because she doesn't see Annie. It's complicated, but nevertheless, it has to read to the audience as though you are making sure that she's not aware of what Annie.
The shows come to us fully rehearsed and ready to go, and they would set up the show on the stage, and then they would bring all of the actors in to familiarize themselves with the new space that their set is in. And so they might sit around and talk about what's different about the space, and then they'd get up and walk around and see where their dressing room is, because it may be off to the left in one theater and off to the right in another. Would hate to have them running off in the wrong direction in our Kentucky Center for the Arts.
And then we get to rehearsals, and those are very different depending on what the ballet is and whether you're rehearsing a group or soloists, principals. The principals sometimes can be wonderful rehearsals. You take something completely to pieces and you can get it right technically and then help them build, give them different, I can give them different examples of other people who have done the role. If we're working on one of the classics, I saw so many people do all of these roles. I've done it myself. I know the loop, the trip places, I know the loopholes, and I feel I'm able to give them a choice of several ways of doing something, several ways of interpreting something, several ways of moving in and out of something. So this is where we have fun, actually, in principal rehearsals.
Later, we'll check in on these companies again as they start working with sets, props, and musical timing.
From the lobby here at the Kentucky Center for the Arts, you can get to any of the performance areas. Whitney Hall is the largest theater here at the center.
One of the things we always have to take into consideration is what will work on the Whitney stage. It's a huge stage. Besides the 2,400 seats out in the hall, we always have to think about the size of the stage. And it's about 56 feet wide, and one or two people could easily get lost on that stage, and it doesn't lend itself that well to very small programs. So generally, we're putting larger events on that require that amount of space, and that are projecting something large enough that will work with 2,400 seats. The Baumhard is what we call a thrust stage. Half the depth of the stage is in front of the proscenium. and the part that is in front of the proscenium are two lifts that are very versatile. We can have them up at stage level, we can drop them down to the floor level, or we can drop them down to a lower level, even that, to have a symphony, an orchestra playing if there's an opera, for instance, going on that needs an orchestra in the pit to play. I love the Baumhart Theater. It seats 600 people. There's not a bad seat in the house. It's great for spoken word. It's very crisp. It also works very well for, we use it for world music and jazz, and you can amplify music in there, and because it's quite absorbed, it absorbs a lot of sound. It doesn't get out of control. The next theater is what we call a three-quarter round theater. It holds up to 150 people. It's very versatile. We can make those three quarters on any wall, one of the four walls we want. It's got a full lighting grid, and it works extremely well for small community theaters, for small spoken word things, or even lecturers. And it's got a first-rate sound system and lighting system and crew, and it's one of our major access points for community groups to come in and do things that it's not as expensive as the other halls, and it gives people in the state actually a chance to come into an art center and do a first-rate production of their work, and it's an important part of what we do here.
The magic of live theater has an enchanting effect. Each of these performance areas, including the Todd Clark Rehearsal Hall, can transport its audience to far-off places and distant times.
Because the arts are so diverse, we can gain an understanding of other people's lives and experiences that are different than our own. Just take a look at the diversity of the sculpture here in the lobby, whether it's the amusing Miro statue,
or the dark sculpture of Nevelson.
This piece of art is made from cars.
Diversity is even reflected in the gift shop displays, as well as in a great variety of programs.
Sometimes the word eclectic is used to describe the diversity of art forms.
There are many styles of art offered at the Kentucky Center for the Arts. Instrumental music, vocal music, modern dance, ethnic, classical ballet, drama, opera, poetry, and enlightening discussion.
Your art center brings you cultural events from around the world.
So, what have we learned about an art center? Check out these important points. An art center is a place where people come together. It's a physical space for the arts, and at the Kentucky Center for the Arts, there are 3 performance areas: the Whitney, the Baumhart, and the Mex. And don't forget the Todd Clark Rehearsal Hall. It's also a psychological space where the artist and the audience can share in the creative experience. All productions have a beginning, a middle, and an end. We learned about the elements of production. A script is written by a playwright who develops the plot or storyline. This can be written as dialogue, monologue, or both. The beginning can be different for a dance company or a musical artist. Staging and direction can involve a variety of styles. And you must have the visual elements: scenery, lighting, costumes, props, and makeup. Sound is also very important. It can be used to create the environment or be the driving force behind a dance company or musical.
Now that productions have been built into the Kentucky Center for the Arts and rehearsals are well underway, it's time for the load-in. We're going to get a rare glimpse of something called a load-in. Sets, props, costume, and much more will be arriving. It's like watching the big top go up at the circus.
load-in is when everything tries to happen at once. The production manager's job in that situation, because energies are so high and everything is trying to happen at once, is to try to keep things orchestrated, to make sure that the lighting on stage happens before the sets get in the way, and the costumes get through the loading door and out the wing before everything blocks the route. And really, a load-in is when you either make the bank or you break the bank, and so that really keeps the production manager's job most interesting to me.
Wasn't that fun? Now a look at technology that is part of modern-day theater.
The technology, the new technology that's available to us now, particularly to enhance performances for patrons, visitors to the theater who have a disability, is quite remarkable. For individuals who are blind or perhaps visually impaired and not necessarily completely blind, audio description is available. It uses an FM system, very much like a transistor radio with a transmitter and a receiver, and that way individuals who are blind or visually impaired can hear through a small receiver that they wear in one ear the trained volunteer describe for them visual elements of the show. So the volunteer is going to tell the blind patron, for example, a little bit about colors, a bit about set design, a lot about movement on the stage, give them all the visual elements that we might see and that they will then hear in one ear, and that will help them to fully enjoy the performance.
Jesse moves slowly over toward Leslie. When he gets there, he takes Leslie's hand and leads her back toward Terabithia. They stand, look around. Jesse reaches behind the platform and lifts out a small black dog.
The newest technology for us at the Kentucky Center is the captioned theater, and that allows individuals who are deaf or hard of hearing to more fully enjoy a performance. And these are the kinds of things that we might not all see in the theater when we come to visit a performance. In addition to captioning, which you might relate to closed captioning on a television screen, you're going to find hearing amplification systems as well in most theaters. At the Kentucky Center, in both the Whitney Hall and the Baumhart Theater, we have an infrared hearing amplification system installed inside the theater. And that infrared system, being very much like a light signal, is available to most of the seats in the theater, so that if you have a family member, if you have a friend or family member who may be hearing impaired, they then have the opportunity to have sound inside the theater amplified for them and them alone. And that's very important so that they can come to the theater with you and enjoy the theater very much the way you would enjoy the theater. The Kentucky Center is one of very few theaters of its size to use audio description. You'll find that occasionally in some large cities, Atlanta perhaps over on the West Coast, but very, very seldom in this particular area of the country. Caption theater is practically unknown across the country. There are probably at this point in time only 2 or 3 other theaters in the country who are using this technology to provide captioning for deaf and hard of hearing patrons.
What pops into your head when you hear the word live? Are you curious about it? Do you get excited? Entertainment can come in many forms, but live is by far the coolest. It's a bond between the on-stage performer and the audience, which you can experience here at the center.
Well, I think that it's interesting when young children come into the theater, they think they're going to see a movie or maybe television, but more likely a movie because it's similar in the architecture, similar to going to the movies. And then slowly they begin to realize that those people are really in the room with us. You're part of the performance. You're part of the celebration of the play. It's not something that was done in Hollywood or in New York and put into a can and shipped to you. This is something you are part of, and there's just no excitement like being in a live performance.
Well, for me, what I see on television, is always wonderful because it's a great conservation of a great performance. But I don't think anything beats being able to see it happen live, because there are the subtle nuances and differences that I think an actor puts into a performance when they're able to hear a response from the audience, and it may be very subtle, and it may be, you know, something that you really would not be able to put your finger on, but there is a difference when you can react to a performance and that actor hears and appreciates how you're reacting to it.
In terms of an audience's view of live theater versus a movie, I think one of the things, and I don't even blame this as much on film, because I think when we go to the movies, we do know we're supposed to be quiet or we'll disturb our neighbor. I think we've gotten to the point with videos, we're so used to just being able to go and, you know, get popcorn or, you know, or pop it in the microwave or go to the refrigerator and talk. I mean, you know, who's going to tell you in your house to be quiet, or you can respond really out loud. In the theater, we want you to respond out loud. We want you to be involved with the action of the show. But I think sometimes you have audience members who don't quite get it, that it's not like watching film, it's not like watching a video, particularly at home. But the other thing is, particularly with our audiences at Stage 1, you have to realize that young people are going to respond in ways that we may not think are appropriate, but it's how they are handling the emotion. It's how they're handling the situation the best way that they know how. And sometimes a sad moment in a play may get laughter from a younger audience just simply because the emotion's in there and they don't know how to deal with it, so it comes out as laughter.
There aren't any second chances in a live performance. You get it or you don't get it, and if you don't get it, you go on. And it's sort of like, it's really a lot like sports, where they say a good shooter has no memory. Well, I think it's that way with live performers too. You flub something, you forget it, you go on. And so that's the excitement of it, I think. And we feed a lot off the audience too. If the audience is getting it, then we kind of hit a sort of heightened gear. And if they don't, boy, that's the longest night you can imagine.
Let's check in on the progress of a few of the productions we've been following. Some are in dress rehearsals, and others have started working with props and animals.
All right, wait here and close your eyes. Okay, you can help them. He's for you.
It's a male?
Yeah. Watch your face, he's liable to lick your skin clean off.
No, we don't care, do we, boy? Let's call him Prince Terrian of Terabithia. No, Prince Terrian. Make him the guardian of Terabithia.
Where you going?
Do that.
Bye-bye.
Just cut that part down. That's good. That's good.
Is to maybe, yeah, you just go up and she stays with her, and if you've got the treat, come on, Joy, come on, and you're here, and see if that'll get. Because then that way she's learned the routine now. She does this and then she goes that way.
We'll just, hey, and even if that's all we got, we'll work with it. That'll work.
All right, let's try that game.
All right, wait here and close your eyes. Get up there. He's for you.
It's a male?
Yeah. Yeah, watch your face. He's liable to lick your skin clean off.
We don't care, do we, boy? Let's name him Prince Terrian and make him guardian of Terabithia. Stay, stay. Take us whenever we get up.
Yeah. He's for you.
It's a male?
Yeah. Yeah, watch your face. He's liable to lick your skin clean off.
We don't care, do we, boy? Let's name him Prince Terrian and make him guardian of Terabithia.
Say, come on, yeah, come on.
Come on.
Yeah.
Don't you
Can you pick her up, Kenny?
Yay! Good girl. Good girl. Sit down.
Yeah, I mean, when Katie gets up to go, pick the dog up and say, where are you going?
Okay.
And carry her right into the grove. And then, Katie, you have the treat in the grove to give to her as soon as she gets there.
I will do it right.
I guess the last note should be.
We're gonna use. I had actually E flat major 7 over A flat.
So no, the last note should be C.
Not tangled up so that I don't.
I mean, I thought.
Not get my food in time.
Oh, we did. What happened?
Because we had that whole middle.
Touch my soul just once more. She's sending the clouds her final encore. Her legend still lives on through her legacy of song. Her name was Sarah.
Me again.
So what's this? I'm working on the lobsters undersuits. They have a jumpsuit with plates hanging off.
Oh,
Did you get to
yes.
see any of the?
I saw the legs.
Right. Yes.
They're
So
wonderful.
It's become an all one-piece thing.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. We'll see. Lots of red. They're going to be in lots of red.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, those two costumes.
Good. Okay.
Just don't play with it. Yeah, I think that's great. I think that's really good. Because you're going bum, bum, we want to change there. It's lighter. Okay?
Oh,
Lighter, every time.
well, see, what happens is I go the right side.
We will be during this intermission presetting shells down here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
45, 46. They're full. Can't put any more light.
Just wanted to make sure. And we didn't need to add 58.
Working with the performing arts is both fun and taxing work. It takes a lot of skill to get a show ready. How do you know you have the right stuff to put a career together in the performing arts? Let's ask people who do it every day.
Oh, I always wanted to do this. You know, I did plays in high school and then in college, and had a really good undergraduate experience in that it was very broad-based. I did a lot of acting and directing and design and tech work, and really just kind of did a little of everything. Came out of college, though there was no question I was going to be a director. I was going to be the next Elia Kazan. But when I got out and started working, the work that came was in the design and tech area. So I just kept pursuing that. And 30 years, I really haven't done anything else.
As a child, I never had any interest in anything really. When it seems that when I was young, everyone always started a conversation with the child as, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I never knew, so I always gave them an answer just to pacify them and go on. In junior high school, I started with the theater department, and I started working with the makeup and the characters and doing some really fun, wild things. And it was a great interest, but then at the same time, I never thought past that, anything that could happen with it. And then a few years further down the road, I think I was in high school and I was doing homework and I glanced up at the television and I saw a credit listing rolling by, and makeup artist caught my eye. And I thought, okay, there are people out there that are making a living doing what I love to do. And from then on, that was it.
Well, everybody takes a look at the stage and sees the actors, of course, and you think that that's obviously a career you could have in the theater, but for every actor on stage, there are probably 8 or 10 people backstage. And there are people building the costumes and designing the costumes and making the props and or hanging the light instruments and designing the lights and building the set, and painting the set, and selling the tickets and designing the study guide materials that go to the teachers and administering the office and making the posters and the brochures and the programs and writing the checks and balancing the bank books and all kinds of things that go on to make a play. And so a lot of careers that you could have in the theater.
Oh, there's so many careers that come out of theater. When they come here or come to us for university counseling, one of the first questions I like to ask them is, where do you want to go to work for the rest of your life? Is it a high-rise building? Is it a forest? Is it a courtroom? Is it a church? Is it a classroom? Is it a theater? And based on that answer, if they say theater, that's the only answer they need. At 17 and 18 years old, they don't know what office doors are open in that building. And there's certainly many doors that are open.
You know, there are many ways to get involved in the theater. I remember the first time I went to the theater. I went to see a production of The Best Christmas Pageant Ever. I was 10 years old, and I remember the sets and the lights and the actors and how much energy they gave. And I couldn't help but to applaud because they were giving to me, and I had to give back. I remember the feeling of never wanting to leave.
I remember the first time I performed in front of a live audience. I was one of only 4 kids in a cast of adults, so I was really nervous. But when the lights went down, and the curtains came up, and the audience grew silent, I knew I could give them what they'd come to see. After all, without you, we wouldn't be here.
Exactly. I mean, being an audience member, it's like a rush of excitement that flows through me.
And it takes a huge amount of people to make a live performance happen.
Exactly. From actor to audience, director to set designer, it takes a diversity of people to create such a wonderful experience. Coming up next, it's performance time.
I can't believe it's opening night. The cast and crew are getting ready as the house fills.
Backstage at the Baumhart Theater. Let's see what's going on.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Swagner. How are you?
Good, how are you?
So you're getting ready for a performance.
Yeah.
And how does it feel, just before a show? How does it feel to, do the performance and stuff?
Well, it feels fine. At stage 1, we do 2 shows a day, so we generally get very used to doing it, and it's not like doing, a few shows on the weekends like people who do community theater are familiar with, so we don't get as nervous as people think that we do.
That's cool. So I noticed that there's some, I was reviewing a rehearsal and I noticed that there was some younger members in the cast, and you being an adult, how does it feel to work with the younger members, and is it an equal thing, or is they do they come to you for advice, or do you still go to them, and things like that?
Yeah, well, the nice thing about stage 1 is that we use actual kids in 2 productions a year, and in a show like this where there are only 3 actual kids in the show, I think the nicest thing is that for them, they feel like they're on equal footing with the professional company, so they realize what it feels like to be treated as a professional, and then they learn more about how to act in a professional manner.
That's great. That sounds really, really great. I see you're getting ready for your makeup.
Yeah, I am. My hair is not usually this big, but the character I think would have big hair, so I spend a lot of time teasing it up and spritzing it, and that takes most of my preparation time in the morning is the big hair thing.
So is there a lot of preparation time before going to do the show? And
Well, our union says that we can't be called more than half an hour before the time that the show is supposed to open. But in this instance, I get here a little bit early because my hair takes a while. I'm not used to doing it like this. So we have an option, and sometimes depending on the role, an actor might get here an hour before the show goes up, or just a half an hour if they don't go on for a few scenes into the show. There's very minimal makeup, things like that. So it doesn't take too long.
That's great. So what's the motivation of your character? Like, is there like a focus? Do you like try to focus on it, like, okay, today I'm going to be this way, or is it different for the next day, or?
I generally just take it scene by scene. Every character wants something different, usually, in every scene. So I just try to take the moments on stage as they come. I'll think about what my character wants in her first scene, and then what she wants in her second scene. And so I just, I don't usually approach the different days when we get into performance thinking about, what I'm going to do that day. Although I do often in rehearsal. I'll think, okay, today I'm going to play with this, and yesterday I played with that, and it didn't really work. So I do that more in rehearsal.
Oh, okay then. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And now we're going to catch up with Ashley.
Hello again. Now we've seen Cheryl Skinner's rehearsal, but now let's go backstage and see what it's like for her. Hi.
Hi.
What made you choose this career?
Actually, I think the career chose me. This is where my natural gift came, and it was pretty apparent even from when I was really little that this was my passion.
What are you feeling just before the live performance?
Well, I'm pretty excited. To tell you the truth, so much is going on until I don't have a lot of time to really think about it. I just sort of have to go through the motion of doing it at this point. But it's pretty exciting because this is my hometown. I was born and raised in Winchester, Kentucky. I went to U of L. I graduated from U of L. And there will be a very supportive audience probably for me because I know so many people in Louisville. Yeah, my very first gig was at the Guardhouse. And I sat at the piano, and I was so frightened that I kept the music stand up so no one could see my face. And tonight I stayed there in a totally different way. So it's a new beginning, but coming back home. And it's always great to come back home.
Oh yeah, that's wonderful. What do you want this audience to go away with?
Well, really, to challenge people to think about something new, something different, to be uplifted in some way. Music for me is such a personal thing, and I just want to share the moment of joy.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Good luck.
Thank you. You sure you don't want to do it?
I'm pretty sure you can handle this one.
Oh, I don't know. Well, here we go.
paints and paper. Real artist paper? Lord, thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's not a great present like yours, but I hope you'll like it.
Oh, I like it. I do it. I just... Queen, I, King of Terabithia, give you thanks too also. Spirits of the grove of joy, comes overflowing on this day.
Of feasting, of singing, this day of gifts and sharing, of
It's medicine.
You must be very sick.
All right, now for this one, shenanigans. You'll scrub this floor and strip them beds for the laundryman.
But it's 4 o'clock in the morning.
I know. And you get down on your knobby little knees and clean this dump until it shines like the top of the Chrysler building.
Yes, Miss Hannigan.
All right, get to work. Now!
Sorry.
Why any kid would want to be an orphan, I'll never know.
It's a fortunate life for us. It's a fortunate life for us. Steady treated, we get tricked. Steady kisses, we get kicked. It's a fortunate life. Got the folks to smoke. So it's a fortunate road. We hoe cotton blankets. Set up full empty bellies. Set up full. It's a fortunate life. Don't it feel like the
The reward of working in a production is one that varies depending on that particular production, but I think the main thing is for me to be able to walk out after it's opened and say, that was truly the vision I wanted for that play.
The payoff is the fact, it's very hard to put together, but it's when any group of people meet a challenge and rise to it.
We've had so much fun.
But this is just a sample of the great adventures you can expect to find when visiting the Kentucky Center for the Arts.
You must be live and in person to get the goosebumps that come from experiencing art firsthand.
The Kentucky Center for the Arts is a place where dreams take shape and magic is made every day. So, let's look back at what we've learned about an art center.
It's a place where the elements of performance come together. Dramatic elements for the spoken word, a playwright which develops the plot or storyline. It must have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Visual. The scenery, lighting, costumes, props and makeup, plus sound create the environment.
And staging and direction. An art center is made possible by a wide range of jobs.
The diversity of art forms. From sculpture to dance, art is all around you at an art center.
The technology. For some, a tool helping them enjoy the arts more fully. For others, a behind-the-scenes surprise.
Everyone is an important part of making an art center work. The audience is just as important as an actor or director.
Attending a live performance is an enriching experience.
The performing arts reflects our history, culture, diversity of people, and the world around us.
Remember, there is such a variety of the performing arts that each one of us can attend and support. From the Kentucky Center for the Arts, I'm Charlotte.
And I'm Ashley. See you at the center.